Hey photographers, when it comes to lenses, you want good, you want fast, you want cheap. As my project management friends would say, pick two. This is Sony's new 16 to 35mm f4 lens. It's a G series lens, and Sony's media release headlines it as the world's lightest constant wide-angle power zoom lens. Should be available in June. Sony's media agency loaned me this review unit, and it's come along for our cruise as Viking's guests on the new Octantis expedition ship. And neither Sony or Viking has paid me, told me what to say, or reviewed either the script or the video before posting. And this cruise, featuring several Caribbean ports, seemed like a perfect opportunity to try out this new lens. See the description for more details. So, good, fast, cheap, good. Yes, quality is exceptional. We'll get to focus, chromatic aberration, and other details in a minute. And cheap, yeah, it's considerably less than similar E-mount lenses. I recently reviewed Sony's 16 to 35mm cinema lens, and the difference in price, weight, and size is remarkable because it is small. The longest dimension's less than 9 centimeters, and it's very light, 353 grams. So fast is where they compromised. f4 isn't particularly fast, but as a constant aperture, it's very respectable. The full frame field of view is 107 to 63 degrees, which is certainly useful to capture the interior spaces on Viking's newest ship. A smaller field of view would not do these justice. For example, this auditorium with its 270-degree view of the ocean. Now, interestingly, at this price, this lens is equally good for video as for stills. Video can be demanding, and Sony's equivalent Cine lens is very pricey. Its size and weight pair nicely with my A7 IV and other similar Sony bodies, including the FX3, which might be its perfect mate. The media release says it's dust and moisture resistant. I didn't put that to the test. Filter diameter is 72 millimeters. The closest focus is 28 centimeters. Now at 35 millimeters, that's a diagonal of about 17 centimeters. It's not macro, but it's a nice close shot. There are 3 rings: focus, focal length, and aperture. The thinner front ring sets the focal distance when using manual focus, and it's focused by wire. There's no mechanical link from the ring to the lens, and it's not defined travel. When the focus reaches its closest or furthest distance, it just keeps turning. Now, it does have an end-to-end travel of a little less than 180 degrees, and it's linear, meaning that if you're in manual focus, any specific distance is repeatable. A strip of masking tape will help you set your specific points. First mark infinity and the closest end, then add marks for the focus points needed. As long as you don't go past the ends, the marked points will retain their distance. As I'm rocking the focus end to end, you should be looking for slight changes in the field of view. Breathing. It's barely noticeable. Sony does not claim that this lens is parfocal. A parfocal lens does not change focus as you zoom, so zoom in all the way, focus, zoom out, and then back in. I'm not sure what I'm seeing, but this certainly seems to be very close to parfocality. The middle ring controls the focal length, and it's zoom by wire. No mechanical connection, no on-lens markings. Rotate the ring to zoom. A full zoom is about 1/4 turn, which most feel is ideal. This body doesn't have a zoom lever, but the lens does. On the left side, that's the power zoom. The rocker has a range of speeds from fast to slow. And there is a zoom control in the menu. With the digital clear zoom, the rocker changes from optical to digital. More is possible with cameras like the FX3 that provide more power zoom controls in their menus. And the third ring sets the aperture from f4 to f22. There's a little pressure required to get to the auto position. If you're in manual or aperture priority exposure mode, it reverts to the front dial to set the aperture, so not really auto on the A7 IV unless you're in shutter priority or program mode. The iris lock switch locks the lens either into auto or manual modes. It doesn't lock the aperture to a specific manual setting. And there's the option to use the standard 1/3 stop click detents or smooth changes, the preferred setting for video. To inspect the edges more closely, I turned Lightroom's lens corrections off. And wide-angle lenses tend to distort straight lines, particularly near the edges of the image. While the horizon in this sunset isn't completely straight, the curve is very slight. And I can't see any barrel distortion, even in complex geometry like these stairs or the Welcome Center at Puerto Rico's El Yunque National Forest. Wide-angle lenses often stretch at the corners. Going to 200%, that doesn't happen here. And still at 200, fine detail is sharp and clear, right to the edges of the frame without chromatic aberration. The Octantis, with a capacity of 380 guests, is small enough to get into ports like St. Bart's that most big boats can't get to. This summer, it's sailing the Great Lakes before heading to Antarctica for our winter, their summer. This lens has a few more controls than most. My favorite is the custom function key. It's useful as AF on, but I prefer to use it to activate eye detect. Now there are a couple more ways to control the zoom. I have an older optional wired remote that works nicely on a tripod handle, and there's a new wireless remote that uses Bluetooth. Now this lens is not optically stabilized, but Sony's in-body is very good. I'm not sure you'll miss that. And Sony's pricier 16 to 35 cinema lens retains a few advantages like T-stops and a marked linear focus ring. But this one is light enough to mount easily on my Ronin S, and as neither focus or zoom have any external movement, the balance doesn't shift when either focal length or distance are adjusted. I appreciate that. That feature, Sony calls it linear XD motors, and you should watch the promo video, I'll link in the description, is thanks to internal rails, which move lens elements both for zoom and focus. I'm never sure whether this kind of thing is real innovative technology or marketing, but the results are excellent. Now, to sum this lens up in 3 more words: versatile, friendly, affordable. I really love this lens, and have asked Terry at DV Shop to put me on the list when it comes in. So, full disclosure, although I was Viking's guest on the cruise and Sony lent me this lens, neither paid me for this video. I'm sponsored by viewers who have decided to become members. Thanks to your support, my videos have no commercial interruptions. I don't read ads or allow YouTube to insert them into my videos. There's a join button below, but subscribing remains free. All of my videos are available to everyone, and I reply to civil comments and relevant questions. Thanks for watching. Stay safe.